All right, so I bet you're listening because you're looking for a good side hustle.
Yeah, one that doesn't take a ton of time.
But, actually make some decent money.
Definitely.
And get this. What if I told you that you could be making money off stuff you already own?
That's right. We're talking about renting out your stuff to make some cash.
It's a pretty cool way to make some extra money, I think.
For sure.
It's really taken off with the whole sharing economy thing.
Yeah, people are realizing they don't need to own everything.
Right. Especially stuff they only use every once in a while.
Exactly.
Like, why buy a fancy camera for just one event?
Just rent one.
And why let your camera gather dust when you could be making money off of it?
That's where these platforms come in.
Like Fat Llama, Turo, and Spinlister.
They make it super easy to connect with people who want to rent all kinds of stuff.
Everything from cameras to camping gear.
Bikes, even cars.
It's crazy.
It really is.
People are starting to change how they think about owning things,
Yeah, they'd rather have access to things instead of owning them.
Especially the expensive things they don't use all the time.
Right.
So, okay, that all makes sense.
Sure.
But for someone who's totally new to this,
Yeah.
how does it actually work?
Okay, let's say you have a nice camera that's just sitting on your shelf.
Okay,
You would list it on one of the platforms.
got it.
Take some good pictures of it, write a good description, and put your rental price.
And then what?
Someone who needs a camera for an event or a project can find your listing and then rent it from you.
So it's like Airbnb, but for, everything.
Exactly.
Okay,
You're turning your unused stuff into little money-making machines.
that's a good way to put it.
And one of the best things is that it's easy to get started.
You mean you don't have to, start a whole business?
You're just using stuff you already own.
So you don't need a ton of money up front.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm already getting some ideas. So how much money are we talking here?
It really just depends on what you're renting out and how often you rent it.
Okay,
It probably won't replace your full-time income,
right.
but it can be a pretty good side hustle.
I see.
Let's say someone's going on vacation and needs a good camera.
Okay.
They might pay $50 to $100 a day for that.
Wow,
If you just rent it out a couple of days a month, that's not bad at all.
that's pretty good. What about something like a bike?
Bikes are a great thing to rent out.
Especially in cities with bike paths.
Oh, yeah,
Someone visiting might want to rent a bike to get around and see the sights.
definitely.
And you could probably make, what, like $20 to $50 a day?
Easily, maybe even more.
It depends on the bike and where you are.
Right.
That's cool. So if I rented my bike out for a whole week, I could make a couple $100.
Potentially.
And you don't just have to rent out expensive stuff, right?
Whoop.
What about, camping gear?
Camping gear is popular too.
I have all that stuff just sitting in my attic.
Exactly.
I'm starting to see how this could work.
Good.
But I have a question.
Okay.
I'm a little overwhelmed with all these platforms.
Yeah,
Fat Llama, Turo, Spinlister.
it's a lot, I know.
What's the difference?
It depends what you want to rent out and who you're trying to rent to.
Okay.
Fat Llama is like the Amazon of renting.
Right.
You can rent pretty much anything on there.
Oh, wow.
And they have insurance too.
So that's good for both sides.
Yeah, for the renters and the people renting out their stuff.
So if I'm not sure what to rent out, Fat Llama is a good place to start.
I think so.
Okay, what about Turo?
Turo is just for cars.
So it's like Airbnb, but for cars?
Yeah,
People need cars for a lot of reasons,
business trips.
vacations,
Right,
or even if their car's in the shop.
exactly.
So I could make, how much?
Maybe $30 to $150 a day.
Wow. That's a lot.
It all depends on your car and your location.
So if I have a fancy car, I could make even more,
Yeah, people will pay more for a cool car.
like a Tesla or something.
Exactly.
Okay, so Fat Llama is for anything. Turo is for cars.
Right.
And Spinlister,
That's all about outdoor gear.
like bikes and kayaks and stuff.
Exactly.
So if you love being outside and have a bunch of gear.
You should check out Spinlister.
All right, so we've got all the platforms covered. Now I want to know more about the advantages.
Okay, yeah.
Why should I rent out my stuff instead of doing some other side hustle?
Well, one of the best things is you don't need to invest a lot to get started.
Right, unlike starting a regular business
You don't need to buy a bunch of stuff
or rent a store.
or spend money on advertising.
You're just using what you already have.
Exactly.
It's like a really safe way to try out being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, you're not risking a lot of money.
But you can still make a profit.
And another great thing is the flexibility.
You can do it whenever you want.
You're in control
I decide what I rent out
and how much to charge.
and when I want to rent it out.
It fits into your life.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you have a busy job or kids at home.
It's your own time.
I like that.
And we should talk about how renting is good for the environment.
Oh, yeah, all that stuff about overconsumption
People are worried about that.
and all the trash we make.
Renting helps people get what they need.
without buying more
It's
stuff
like giving your stuff a second life.
and keeping it out of a landfill.
Exactly.
Plus, it's a cool way to connect with people in your community.
It is. It's like you're sharing.
Okay, so I like all that.
Good.
But let's get into the details.
Sure.
What if I want to rent out my camera on Fat Llama?
Okay.
Are there any tips to make my listing really good so I can get more renters?
Yeah, it's all about how you present it.
Like, it has to look good.
You want your listing to stand out.
So no bad pictures.
Right. Definitely not.
Okay, what should I do?
Take really good pictures of your stuff.
In good lighting.
Yes, and show it off.
Like, what would I do for my camera?
Maybe put it on a tripod.
Oh, yeah, with a nice background.
And show the different lenses you have. The description is important, too.
Okay.
Be clear and specific.
Tell people about the features and benefits.
Right. And tell them about any extra stuff you have.
Like if my camera has a good lens or an extra battery.
Yeah, things like that.
So those little things can help me get more renters.
And maybe charge a little more.
Okay, speaking of pricing,
That's a big one.
how do I know how much to charge?
So I don't scare people away. Do some research.
Okay.
Look at other listings for similar stuff.
Okay,
See what they're charging.
makes sense.
Think about the condition of your item.
Like if it's brand new or not,
Yeah, and how old it is.
and any special features it has.
Right.
So a brand new camera could be more expensive than an older one.
Exactly.
Got it.
And don't forget about cleaning and stuff.
Oh, right, you have to get it ready to rent out.
And maybe fix it if it breaks.
So I need to include those costs in my price.
Yeah, you want to make sure you're making money,
I see your point.
and you can always change the price later.
Oh, you mean like if nobody's renting it?
You could lower the price.
Or if it's renting really well,
You could raise the price.
so I can play around with it.
Exactly.
Okay, what about marketing? How do I get people to see my listing?
A lot of platforms let you pay to promote your listings.
Okay, so more people see it.
Right, especially when you're just starting out.
So it's like advertising.
Yeah, it can be a good investment.
What about social media?
Social media is great.
Like Facebook and Instagram?
Right, you can tell people you're renting out stuff.
That's free marketing.
It is. It's really helpful.
I could just make a post about it.
Yeah, and you can even target specific groups.
Like people who like to camp.
Exactly.
That's a good idea.
Okay, now let's talk about something important.
What's that?
Security.
Oh, I was thinking about that.
I know some people get nervous about this.
Yeah, I don't want just anybody using my stuff.
I understand.
So how do I stay safe?
Most platforms check the renter's ID,
Okay, that's good.
but you can also do things to be extra safe.
Like what?
Meet the renter in a safe place for the first time.
Like a coffee shop or something?
Yeah, a public place.
Not in some dark alley.
Right?
Makes sense.
And ask questions about why they want to rent your stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
It helps you get a feel for them.
Like if someone wants to rent my camera but doesn't know anything about cameras?
Yeah, that's a red flag.
Okay, so I should trust my gut.
Definitely. If you don't feel good about it, don't rent to them.
It's my stuff. I get to choose.
Right?
So we've covered a lot.
Presentation, communication, pricing, marketing, security.
Anything else I need to know?
One last thing.
Okay.
It's a big one.
Oh.
Make sure you know about the legal stuff and insurance.
Oh, right. I was wondering about that.
It's really important.
Yeah, you want to be protected if something goes wrong.
Exactly. Read the platform's rules.
And what else?
You might want to have a contract with the renter.
Oh, so we both know what we're agreeing to.
Right. Things like who's responsible if something happens.
And if it gets stolen.
Ex-
So I need a contract.
Yeah, and check with your insurance company.
Just to make sure my stuff is covered.
Some platforms have insurance too.
But I should check with my own insurance just in case.
Definitely.
All right, that's good advice.
It's easy to forget about that stuff.
Yeah, when you're excited about making money.
But it's
I'm
important.
glad we talked about it. It's pretty amazing how much we've learned.
I know, right?
I thought this was just going to be about making some extra cash.
It's way more than that.
It's like a whole different way of thinking about owning stuff,
It's true. We don't have to own everything.
especially things we don't use very often,
Right. It's about using what we have more efficiently.
and making less trash.
Sharing is a big part of it too.
I really like how this could help people financially.
It's a good way to make some extra money.
Yeah, and it gives you more control over your money.
You're not relying on a boss or a company.
Okay, so before we finish up,
Yeah.
I want to leave you with something to think about.
Okay. I like that.
Look around your house right now.
What do you see?
What do you have that's just sitting there collecting dust?
Like that treadmill you never use.
Or that kayak you haven't touched in years?
Or that fancy dress you only wore once.
Don't forget about those power tools in the garage.
We all have so much stuff.
And most of it we don't even use.
It's just sitting there losing value.
So instead of letting it go to waste,
Why not make some money off of it?
that camera you haven't used could pay for your next vacation.
Maybe that bike could help you pay off some debt.
It's all about looking at your stuff in a new way,
Not just as stuff, but as something valuable.
something that can make you money.
Give you some financial freedom.
And these platforms make it so easy to get started.
Fat Llama, Turo, Spinlister,
They handle all the hard stuff.
the payments, the insurance,
All you have to do is list your items
find some renters.
and start making money.
So what are you waiting for?
Go check out these platforms.
See what other people are renting?
Get some ideas.
You might be surprised at what people are looking for.
And how much you could earn.
It's not just about making money, though.
It's about being part of something bigger,
A new way of thinking about stuff.
a more sustainable way of living.
Sharing with each other.
It's pretty cool when you think about it.
It is.
So go out there and rent your stuff.
Give it a try.
Experiment with different things.
So it works for you.
You might discover you're a natural entrepreneur.
You might even love connecting with people this way.
And who knows, maybe you'll find a whole new appreciation for the things you already own.
That's a great point.
All right, that's it for this deep dive.
Thanks for listening.
Happy hustling, everyone.